The crystalline throne room of the Valkorian Empire stretched upward into impossible heights, its walls pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that spoke of a civilization ancient beyond human reckoning. Princess Ayla sat upon her elevated seat, her 4 eyes gleaming with barely concealed contempt as she regarded the human standing before her. Marcus. Reed kept his expression neutral, his hands clasped behind his back in a posture that could have been military or simply patient. He had been on enough alien worlds to know that first impressions often determined whether negotiations ended in trade agreements or bloodshed. "You wish to establish an embassy on our capital world," Ayla said, her voice carrying the musical quality of her species, but edged with something sharper. "The mighty humans, spreading across the galaxy like a plague of insects, now want to plant their flag on Valkoria Prime." "An embassy would benefit both our peoples," Marcus replied evenly. "We seek only mutual understanding and peaceful cooperation." The princess rose from her throne, her height imposing even by Valkorian standards. She descended the steps with predatory grace, her ceremonial armor clicking softly with each movement. The courtiers lining the walls whispered among themselves, their compound eyes reflecting the ambient light in unsettling patterns. "You speak of peace," Ayla said, circling Marcus like a hunter evaluating prey. "Yet your species has been in the void for barely 200 of your years. We have ruled this sector for 40,000. What could you possibly offer us that we have not already mastered?" Marcus allowed himself a small smile. "Perspective, perhaps." The princess laughed, a sound like wind chimes in a storm. "Perspective from children who still fight among themselves? Who destroy their own birth world with careless industry? Who squabble over resources like hatchlings over food scraps? We've made mistakes," Marcus admitted, "but we've learned from them. Have you?" Ayla stopped directly in front of him, close enough that he could see the intricate patterns in her skin that shifted with her mood. "Your kind is weak, soft. You lack the biological advantages that evolution granted the true powers of this galaxy. No natural armor, no enhanced sensory organs. Your lifespan is laughably brief. You are, in every measurable way, inferior." The courtiers murmured their agreement, their voices creating an alien harmony that filled the vast chamber. Marcus noted the guards positioned at every exit, their weapons clearly visible. He had walked into a trap disguised as a diplomatic meeting. "I propose a demonstration," the princess continued, her tone shifting to something almost playful. "A simple test of endurance. You humans pride yourselves on your adaptability, yes? Your ability to survive in hostile environments?" "We've managed well enough," Marcus said carefully. "Then you will accompany me to the trial sphere. If you can last just one of your minutes in conditions that any Valkorian child endures as part of their education, I will grant your embassy request. If you fail, your species will abandon all claims to this sector and withdraw beyond the outer rim." Marcus considered the offer. He knew enough about Valkorian culture to understand that refusing would be seen as cowardice, effectively ending any hope of establishing relations. Yet accepting meant walking into an unknown challenge designed by a species that clearly viewed humans as beneath them. "I accept," he said. The princess smiled, revealing rows of crystalline teeth. "Excellent. Let us see how long you last, human." The trial sphere occupied a separate wing of the palace complex, a massive chamber that could simulate virtually any environment in the known galaxy. As they entered, Marcus saw other Valkorians gathered to witness what they clearly expected to be his humiliation. Some held recording devices, eager to capture the moment for posterity. "The standard test," Ayla announced to the crowd, "designed for our adolescents as they approach their maturity rites. Extreme temperature fluctuations, variable gravity, atmospheric composition shifts, and sensory overload stimuli. Most of our youth can endure this for half an hour before requiring rest. A fully mature Valkorian can last indefinitely. She turned to Marcus with undisguised satisfaction. "You have agreed to 1 minute. Shall we begin?" Marcus removed his jacket and handed it to an attendant. Beneath, he wore a simple gray shirt that marked him as civilian rather than military. He stepped into the sphere's entrance chamber as the princess activated the controls. "Begin countdown," Ayla commanded. The sphere came alive around Marcus. Immediately, the temperature plummeted to well below freezing, frost forming on every surface. He felt the air composition change, becoming thin and acidic. The gravity intensified, pressing down on him with crushing force. Lights flashed in discordant patterns designed to disorient and overwhelm. Marcus closed his eyes and focused on his breathing, a technique learned during his years in Earth's special forces before he had transitioned to diplomatic service. The cold was intense, but he had trained in Arctic conditions. The gravity was heavy, but he had worked on high-gravity worlds. The thin air burned his lungs, but he had once spent 3 months on a mining station with barely adequate life support. 15 seconds passed. The temperature spiked upward, going from Arctic to furnace in moments. Marcus felt sweat evaporate from his skin almost instantly. The gravity reversed, becoming nearly weightless, then slammed back down with doubled force. The lights became strobes, pulsing at frequencies designed to trigger seizures in most species, about 30 seconds. He heard the murmurs from outside the sphere, surprise creeping into the voices of the watching Valkorians. Ayla stood at the control panel, her expression shifting from confidence to concentration. She increased the intensity. The air became caustic, each breath like inhaling fire. The temperature fluctuated wildly now, swinging between extremes every few seconds. The gravity cycled through variations that would have torn apart most organic structures. The sensory assault included sonic elements now, frequencies that vibrated through bone and tissue. 40-5 seconds. Marcus opened his eyes, despite the visual chaos around him. He looked directly at where he knew the observation window stood, meeting the princess's gaze across the impossible environment she had created. He did not smile. He did not grimace. He simply endured. The final 15 seconds felt like an eternity. Ayla had abandoned all restraint, pushing the sphere's systems beyond their standard parameters. The environment inside became a shifting nightmare that would have killed most species within moments. But humans had evolved on a death world, a planet that had tried to destroy them in countless ways over millions of years. They had learned to survive. The timer reached 0. Marcus stepped out of the sphere as the systems powered down. His clothes were torn and scorched. His skin showed burns and frost damage. Blood seeped from his ears, where the sonic assault had ruptured delicate membranes. But he walked out under his own power, his spine straight, his eyes clear. The throne room had gone silent. Princess Ayla stared at him, her 4 eyes wide with something that might have been respect or might have been fear. She opened her mouth, then closed it again, struggling for words in a way that clearly came unnaturally to her. "You cheated," she finally managed. "That is not possible. No species could endure what I just subjected you to without enhancement or protective equipment." "I am unenhanced," Marcus replied, his voice rough from the caustic atmosphere he had breathed. "No modifications. No hidden technology. Just a human, Your Highness. Just one of those weak, soft, inferior creatures you dismissed." He took a step forward, and several guards moved to intercept him before Ayla waved them back. "You want to know what humans offer?" Marcus continued. "We offer the perspective of a species that has survived everything our universe could throw at us. We evolved on a world that tried to kill us every single day. Predators, diseases, natural disasters. We faced extinction dozens of times before we even developed agriculture. And every time we adapted. We endured. We survived." He gestured to the trial sphere. Your children train in simulated hardship. Human children are born into real hardship on a world so hostile that most species consider it a hell planet. We are not stronger than you. We are not smarter. We are not more advanced. But we are survivors, Princess. That is what we bring to this galaxy. The knowledge that no matter how impossible the odds, no matter how dire the circumstances, life finds a way to persist. The silence stretched for long moments. Then, slowly, Princess Ayla descended from her observation platform. She approached Marcus and, in a gesture that clearly shocked her courtiers, lowered her head in a subtle bow. "You have passed the trial," she said formally. "The Valkorian Empire will grant your embassy request. Perhaps we have underestimated your kind." Marcus managed a weary smile. "Perhaps you have, Your Highness. And perhaps, in time, we can learn from each other. Your people have wisdom born of ages. Ours have resilience born of necessity. Together, we might build something neither could achieve alone." The princess considered this, then nodded. "Your minute has earned you more than an embassy, human. It has earned you my attention. Let us see what else your species is capable of." As Marcus was led away to receive medical treatment, he allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The galaxy had dismissed humanity as newcomers, as primitives, as beings too fragile to matter. But they were learning, one demonstration at a time, that humans had.